Welcome, folks, to Let's Play The Raven, Legacy of a Master Thief, developed by King Art Games and published by the Adventure Company, which is a division of Nordic Games, in 2013. This is a 3D point-and-click adventure game that was originally released episodically, the final of the 3 chapters of the game being released in September of 2013. I have to be honest with The Raven, when I first saw footage of this, I wasn't particularly keen on it, and I didn't think I'd enjoy it. Having experienced more of the game, I can happily say that for me, I've been greatly surprised by how much I've enjoyed The Raven. I find the characters really interesting, and the plot extremely intriguing, and the game very enjoyable, and that is why I'm going to be Let's Playing it. The game itself, from the introduction, sets a rather interesting scene, in that the Raven, whoever he was, being a master criminal, has returned, and has just pulled off a daring heist. We pick up the first chapter on the Orient Express. The Orient Express heading to destinations unknown. What does the Orient Express have to do with the Master Thief? We shall find out. We shall find out as we enter into the legacy of the Raven. We're going to be skipping the introductory cutscene because we've already seen it, and when we come back, it'll be the start of the game proper.
Hands up!
And we start with a hold-up.
I don't have time to play. I'm on duty.
Except not.
Haha, you're funny. But you don't look like a real cop. You don't even have a revolver.
Meet our main character, the police officer on the Orient Express. And meet another one of the characters, who we can just give the option to tell to go away. But that's not very point-and-click adventure game style, is it? Let's actually find out who he is.
What's your name, boy?
My name is Matthew Miller.
Hello!
And where are you from, Matthew Miller?
From Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. But my mom and I live in England now. She's taking care of some rich old lady. We're on our way to Venice at the moment. We're taking a cruise on a big ship.
Ooh.
Impressive. You've already seen half the world. I've spent my entire life in Switzerland.
Must be really boring.
I'm not sure about that, Matthew. I mean, beautiful countryside and picturesque views in Switzerland, after all. I mean, admittedly, you can't see it on this side of the train, but the other side of the train looks really nice.
And what's with the gun? What do you need it for?
It's the Raven. He was gunned down, so now I need a pistol.
Dead birds don't need guns. Nor do live ones.
True.
You don't know who the Raven is, do you? He's the greatest burglar ever. He stole paintings from the Louvre, and those priceless eggs with gold and diamonds and stuff.
Fabergé.
And Bobby Dobbs says he replaced the crown jewels with rhinestones.
I know who the Raven was. Although, I don't quite buy that bit about the crown jewels.
I don't think anyone would. I think Matthew's been listening to people who've been lying to him. And then we get to talk about the burglary in London.
You do know these days there are thieves far more dangerous than your old Raven.
Really?
2 days ago, a precious ruby was stolen from the British Museum. There was an explosion. A guard was severely injured.
Really?
Yeah. And you know what the papers say?
No. Hello.
You talk too much, Constable.
Do I?
Zellner, monsieur. Anton Jakob Zellner.
Or did he pull a gun on you?
No, monsieur.
Get a move on.
Well, that guy's a party pooper.
Inspector LeGrande, it's a great honor to work with a celebrity like you.
We appreciate the support of the Swiss police.
Oh?
But it'd be better if you'd remain seated and keep an eye on things.
Really? This is Constable Zellner that we now have the name of. And he is indeed our main character. And you can see that his badge is very slightly clipping into his, character model. He would like to help, but I'm going to ask what's going on here.
But monsieur, your journey on this train is most unusual. Is it related to the burglary at the British Museum?
Of course it is.
Not in the least.
And the safe? What's that for?
I'll let you know if we need your help, Constable. If you'll excuse me, I'll be in the first freight car at the back of the train for the rest of the trip.
Oh, and then he leaves.
I'm not here to enjoy the beautiful scenery. I am a good observer.
Really?
And I have finally honed powers of deduction.
How so?
Thanks to that?
I watched the people on the platform in Zurich. I know, for example, that man over there is a violinist.
That would be more impressive if there weren't a violin case next to him.
True.
And I believe that the gentleman in the next carriage is a German doctor on his way to Italy to take up a new position.
Really?
And what gives you that idea?
There's the rod of Asclepius engraved on his cufflink. And he's carrying a German-Italian dictionary.
Oh.
Maybe he's just taking a holiday in Italy, following in Goethe's footsteps.
Too much luggage. And no, he's not retiring to Italy either. The suitcases are too shabby for me to believe that he can afford to retire in his late 50s.
Oh.
All right then, Constable...
Zellner.
Constable Zellner. If you're such a clever fellow, what am I doing on this train?
Ah, well, you're not on holiday, and you're not searching for someone. You're guarding something, aren't you?
I think you're guarding something.
Oh, really? And what might it be?
Whatever is inside the safe? Money? Or a jewel? It is a jewel. I'm pretty confident that it's a jewel.
Could it possibly be a jewel that's making a long and perilous journey?
You're guessing. You can't possibly know what's inside the safe.
But if that were the case...
Then I'd ask you why the train wasn't crawling with police.
Well, it's a trap, obviously, isn't it? Some men are needed, but not all of the entire police force are needed. So, it is indeed a trap.
It's a trap.
You've got a vivid imagination. I'll give you that. Well, that is impressive, I admit. But the fewer people involved, the better. We'll get along fine without you.
You won't.
Won't? Pardonnez-moi.
I can help. And I will help. You are in my country. And I've been ordered to assist you.
True.
And that's exactly what I'll do. Whether you like it or not.
Stubborn.
Clever and stubborn. Your commitment speaks volumes, Zellner. But this is my show, and I don't need you. Bon voyage.
But how do you know?
He's not going to answer that, Zellner. Hello.
Oh, hello.
You cheated.
I did what?
I saw you talking to the German doctor on the platform.
Oops.
He told you everything himself, and you were just pretending to put two and two together.
And what of it? Do you know who that is? That's Inspector Nicholas LeGrande. You have to impress him if you want to work with him.
I'm going to tell on you.
No, you're not.
You'd really tell on me? To the very policeman who shot your dear Raven?
Whoa. It was him?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Hunted and killed Europe's most famous burglar. That's how he got his start.
I won't tell him a thing.
I wouldn't either. All right, Matthew. I have to do my work now.
Do you?
Everyone calls me Matt. Well, except for my mom. She calls me Maddie, as if I were a little kid.
Off you go, Matt.
Whether LeGrande wants my help or not, I'll keep my eyes open.
I'm not surprised.
Maybe I can change his mind.
Maybe. Do you want to learn about the game controls? Yeah, why not? Let's examine the sandwich paper. Just click on it.
This morning I thought I wouldn't be hungry because of all the excitement. Thankfully, I bought a sandwich with me anyway.
If you move the mouse over the sandwich paper again, you'll see that the cursor's shape has changed and the text at the bottom says, "Take the sandwich paper." Click again to pick it up. Very good. Move the cursor to the bottom of the screen. That's where your inventory is. And indeed, there is a piece of sandwich paper. And a paper napkin. Left-click on the sandwich paper. Now we can use it on the apple core. Look! We're taking care of our rubbish. Like a real policeman would. Oh, and now we want the sandwich paper with apple core. We want to right-click on it.
I wrapped the apple core in the sandwich paper. That way I can carry it without making a mess of my trouser pocket. Still, I'd prefer not to have to carry them all day.
We can use items. Oh. We can put the napkin in there. Ah, right.
The napkin came with the croissant I bought at the train station. A guilty pleasure. I don't need that either.
Aha! Well, you can put that in there. All wrapped up in a nice ball. Let's get rid of it. Dump the litter from your inventory into the ashtray. Really? We're not going to put it in a bin? The ashtray? Okay. That wasn't too hard, was it? And now you know everything you need to know about the game's controls.
All right.
If you're stuck, try talking to all characters. That's a good piece of advice for a point-and-click adventure game in general, except the ones that kill you. This one doesn't kill you. Also, you'll note that your book that you were reading at the beginning has magically appeared on the table now. We want that book. We want...
Vicarage in the Mirror. A detective novel by my favorite author, Lady Clarissa Westmacott. For years now, I've been trying to convince my theater group to stage one of her plays.
I wonder if we'll meet her on this train. Nah, that'd be too coincidental.
I'll leave it there. I'll pick it up before I get off.
Okay, fair enough. We'll be picking that up a lot sooner than then. So, we're going to try and help in this scheme that LeGrande has. And we all pretty much know what that scheme is. It might involve a duel, and it might involve a train and a safe, and there is a map here.
The large map shows the different routes of the Orient Express. This train began in Paris and ends in Istanbul as usual. Unfortunately, it will make most of its journey without me.
Oh, that's sad.
The train covers a distance of more than 3,000 kilometers and stops at a dozen places. In many cities, they entertain the travelers with local specialities and culture and adventure, especially in southeastern Europe.
Well, we can't look at that anymore. We can look at this door, though.
This is the first car. The coal tender should be directly beyond this door, and in front of it, the engine.
Very well. Let us move on. You just left-click where you want to walk. There are other things here. There is, in fact, the violinist, for instance.
The violinist is a good-looking fellow, and he's traveling through the most beautiful mountain landscape in the world. But one can only hope that his violin is better tuned than he.
Oh? Do you know something about him we don't? His hand's shaking.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are you, and who are you, sir?
If I'm not mistaken, you're a violinist.
That's true.
A wonderful instrument. The violin music touches the soul.
That's why I learned to play it.
Do you play in an orchestra?
No, orchestras aren't really part of my world.
Oh.
A solo violinist. The best soloists travel a great deal and make a pile of money, or so they say.
In that case, I'm probably not one of the best.
Oh. Where are you travelling to, sir?
Are you traveling to Istanbul non-stop?
No. I'll transfer in Venice to a ship. I'm on my way to Cairo.
Really?
Cairo?
I'm performing at the reception in the Egyptian Museum there.
Now, wasn't Matt going on a cruise as well? From Venice? Nah, they can't both be going on the same cruise.
I'm sure your recital will be a great success. But tell me, did you notice anything unusual on the train?
Anything unusual?
Yeah.
Persons acting suspiciously, for instance.
For heaven's sake, is there cause for concern?
Nah.
Everything is in order, sir. We Swiss are just very cautious people.
I understand. No, I didn't notice anything.
Fair enough.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
Well, that person seems pretty reasonable. We have the notebook in the corner that we can read all of our notes up on any people, but right now we've only met precisely 3 people, so there's not really much to talk about. I have my wallet, which I can have a look at.
I bought it last week at a flea market. I like it because it tells a story. I suppose the previous owner bought himself a newer one. This one still works just fine, though.
And pills.
Pills. For my heart. I'm supposed to take one if I have trouble. My daughter insisted that I take them with me. She was strongly against this little adventure, but I wasn't about to change my mind.
Little adventure? What on earth are you talking about, Zellner? Anyway, let's move on. Down the corridor.
Very kind of you. Thanks.
Oh,
Oh, pardon me.
oops.
No problem. The uniform is waterproof. Mr.
Lucian. Professor Edgar Lucian.
Hello.
Oh, a professor.
Well,
Are you a scientist? Do you teach at the Sorbonne?
no.
No, I work at the British Museum in London.
Really?
You don't say.
Well, you might know something about the burglary.
So, you were, shall we say, an eyewitness to the burglary 2 days ago?
No.
No, I wouldn't say that.
Oh, no?
Well, there was a lot of commotion, but I didn't really pay much attention.
Really?
There was a break-in in your museum, and it didn't concern you?
Well, let's just say that nothing that's happened in the last 2,000 years concerns me.
Ah. So you're a, professor of ancient history. But even so, that's a mighty bit suspicious.
May I ask where you are going?
Of course. To Venice.
Really?
I'm going to meet some colleagues there.
Oh, Venice. A beautiful city, or so I'm told.
Indeed. But I really have to take my leave now.
So you're also travelling to Venice to meet some colleagues of yours. It's a bit suspicious. You were hesitating a bit there.
Just a moment, please. The famous Inspector LeGrande is on this train. I imagine you know him.
No, should I?
You don't know him? And you also don't know what he's doing here?
No. Why should I?
Good question.
Just a thought. You're a representative of the British Museum. There's a guarded safe on the train.
I'm sorry. I don't know what you're trying to imply. And now, please excuse me.
I don't think so. One more question, if you will.
Just one more thing. Did you notice anything unusual on the train?
He won't have.
Here? On the train? No. I can't say that I have.
Not surprising.
Although I did spend most of the time in my compartment.
Well, might as well say goodbye to the professor.
I don't want to take up any more of your valuable time, but you do understand, don't you, that what concerns me is the present, and especially the robbery at the museum.
Yeah, of course, of course. It's just... I'm in rather a hurry.
Really?
You'll get in touch if you notice anything unusual, won't you, Professor?
Of course, Constable.
Well, time for him to go to his room.
What's this?
What's the matter, sir?
The door. I can't open it.
Oh.
Ah, we'll sort it out somehow. The compartment is locked.
Really?
I didn't lock it. I don't even have a key. I asked the steward. He was going to bring me one, but he never came back.
Someone locked it.
Find the steward. He needs to bring me the key immediately.
Immediately?
Calm down, Professor. I'll see what I can do.
You don't understand. I have to get back in my compartment.
All right, just wait here.
You are not being in the least bit suspicious, Lucian. And by not in the least bit suspicious, I mean you are being entirely suspicious. However, we have to get you back into your compartment, and that will come in another video. For when we come back, folks, there is plotting and deviousness afoot, and only Constable Zellner can figure it out. I'll catch you next time, folks, and I'll see you then. Later. Isn't the music so cheery? Quite suits the train journey, I think. Later.